Hello and welcome back to the Equiherbal podcast where we discuss all things herbs and horses to help you and your horse live a happy, healthier life, naturally. I am Kayla Dendy, your master herbalist, and today I will be discussing blue vervain, a little-known herb that is making a comeback. As always, please speak with your doctor or veterinarian before utilizing herbs or alternative medicine. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended or designed to be a substitute for qualified medical advice. Today, I am going to delve into the fascinating world of a perennial herb that carries a legacy stretching from the ancient altars of Rome to modern research laboratories. Blue vervain, whose botanical name is Verbena hustata. Known historically as a widespread cure-all, blue vervain boasts a rich and often mystical past. This herb has been highly esteemed as a general remedy since antiquity and into the last century. The history of blue vervain is steeped in lore and wide use. The Druids included it in their lustral water and used it as a cure for the plague. The Romans revered it as a holy plant, calling it herba sacra, and used it in bunches to sweep the altars of the gods. It was considered one of the simples of Hippocrates, the father of medicine. Its long history of utility earned it the nickname Simpler's Joy, because the compounders of medicines, called simplers, found so many uses for it. Folklore claimed that sprinkling a dining room with water steeped with the herb would make the guests merrier, and it was famously featured in magical pomades, true love powders, and used as an amulet against venomous serpents and evil influences in the Middle Ages. While ancient cultures used blue vervain for everything from scrofula cures, worn as necklaces of the roots tied with white satin ribbon, to treating ailments like ague, tonsillitis, and liver-related issues, modern research is now focusing on the bioactive compounds that might explain its effectiveness. Studies indicate that compounds like iridoid glycosides and flavonoids are present in blue vervain. These constituents contribute to its potential health benefits, which include calming and sedative effects, inflammatory and antioxidant activity, as well as antimicrobial potential. Join me as I explore the rich history, the intriguing folklore, and the promising research surrounding blue vervain. Blue vervain is a member of the Vervain or Verbena family, Verbenaceae, and is classified as an erect, tall perennial. This is not a small plant. It can reach an impressive height, typically between 1 and 7 feet tall. If you were to feel the main stalk, you'd notice a key identifying characteristic. The stem is coarse, stout, and notably four-angled or four-sided. It is often grooved and can range in color from dull green to purplish. The plant features opposite branches growing off the mainstream. The leaves of blue vervain are simple and grow opposite one another. They attach to the stem via short petioles. When describing the shape, the leaves are generally lanceolate or oblong. They can be quite large, measuring about 1.5 to 7 inches long and up to 2 inches wide. If you touch them, you'll find they are dark green, strongly veined, and have a rough texture due to fine, rough hairs. Their edges are distinctive, featuring margins that are coarsely double-toothed or serrated. The larger lower leaves might even show 2 smaller, sharp-toothed lobes located near their base. The most recognizable feature of the plant is undoubtedly the flowers. The flowers themselves are small, usually about 1/8 to 1/3 inch wide. They are sessile, meaning they attach directly to the stalk without their own stem. Their color is typically blue or blue-violet, though occasionally they may appear pink, lavender, or even white. The petals are fused into a tubular corolla with 5 abruptly flaring rounded lobes. These small flowers are arranged densely and spirally upon numerous, slender, stiff, and highly recognizable pencil-like spikes. These spikes are erect and usually measure between 2 and 6 inches long, sometimes elongating up to 8 inches. Interestingly, the flowers bloom only a few at a time, starting at the bottom and progressing toward the tip. This means that a single spike can simultaneously hold flower buds, blooming flowers, and developing fruit. The plant develops 4 seeds. The fruit consists of 4 separate small, hard, red-brown nutlets. These nutlets, which are oblong and about 1/10 inch long, are enclosed within a dried, 4-toothed calyx. Each nutlet contains a single seed. A handy feature of this plant is that many of its seeds persist on the spikes throughout the winter, providing food for various species of birds. Blue vervain grows wild in North America, Europe, Canada, and Japan. If you want to spot this herb, you'll need to look in specific environments. Blue vervain prefers open, wet areas, such as wet prairies and wet meadows, swamps and marshes, pond and stream shorelines, moist fields, and low pastures. It begins to flower in the United States generally between June and September, or sometimes extending into October. You might have to look carefully, as the plants are often found singly and are rarely discovered growing in large patches. So the next time you are near a wet meadow in late summer, look for that tall, four-sided stalk, topped by a signature spike of purplish-blue flowers. You may have found Simpler's Joy. Now that we know what the plant looks like and where to find it, we will look at the parts of the plant that are used for medicinal purposes. Historically, the two main parts of the blue vervain plant utilized for medicinal purposes were the roots and leaves. The roots were generally considered to be more potent than the leaves and were harvested year-round. The top parts of the plant, which include the leaves and stems, were typically harvested when the plant was in bloom. In traditional Chinese medicine, they differentiated their use. The root was employed for issues like malaria and dysentery, while the stalk and leaves were used for conditions involving blood, congestion, and cleansing body toxins. The way the roots and leaves were prepared depended entirely on the intended effects. The leaves were frequently dried and used to make a beverage tea. This leaf tea was sometimes prepared as a spring tonic and was famously referred to as Simpler's Joy. This tea was also used by American Indians as a female tonic, as well as for managing colds, fevers, and bowel complaints. Furthermore, a strong infusion of the herb, likely the leaves and top parts, could be applied externally as a poultice. Beyond internal use, the roots had a famous external application centuries ago. They were made into necklaces tied with white satin ribbon and worn around the neck as a claimed cure for scrofula, a condition causing one to look run down. The seeds are the most edible parts of the plant. They were either dried or roasted, then ground into a flour substitute. This flour was mildly bitter and historically required soaking in several changes of cold water to remove that bitterness. The dried powdered flowers found a specific traditional use as snuff for nosebleeds. Blue vervain was also widely employed in external preparations. One very old source mentioned using an ointment made with lard, known as new swine's grease, to stop uterine pains. Conversely, an ointment made with honey was said to clear up old wounds. A poultice could be made using a strong infusion of blue vervain instead of plain water, mixing it with flaxseed meal. This preparation was used to relieve rheumatism, neuralgia, sciatica, and to draw out boils and abscesses, especially for reducing swollen glands. As you can see, every major component of blue vervain, from the roots to the tip of the flowering spike, has played a role in folk medicine and culinary practices, solidifying its historical status as the compounder's favorite. As I've alluded to, blue vervain has an extensive history that stretches back millennia. It stands out in herbal history as one of the most enduring cure-alls. Let's trace the remarkable journey of this powerful herb. The reverence for this plant is deeply embedded in its historic names. The ancient Romans held blue vervain in high esteem, considering it a holy plant. They called it herba sacra, meaning sacred herb, and famously gathered bunches of it to sweep the altars of the gods. The term vervaina itself was the classical collective term for altar plants in general, and especially for this species. But the plant's sacred use wasn't limited to Rome. It was one of the simples of Hippocrates, known as the father of medicine. It was used by the Greeks and Romans, and also by those at 6th century Mid-Phi. The Druids included the herb in their lustral water and were also known for using it as a cure for the plague. In fact, blue vervain was one of the herbs brought into England via the Druids and the Welsh. Another historic name, Herba veneris, relates to the great aphrodisiac powers traditionally attributed to the plant. The name vervain is even thought to come from the Celtic word frafaian, meaning to drive away a stone, reflecting its wide use in treating bladder problems and stones. Throughout the Middle Ages and beyond, blue vervain became closely associated with magic, protection, and cheer. If you were preparing for a dinner party, Pliny is claimed to have suggested a unique use. If the dining room is sprinkled with water in which the herb hath been steeped, the guests will be merrier. The herb's protective and magical uses were prolific. It was extensively used by magicians and sorcerers in various rites and incantations. It featured prominently in magical pomades in the Middle Ages. It was generally included as an ingredient in true love powders and other marvelous herbs. The Druids mixed it with other herbs to ward off the evil eye. It was worn as an amulet against venomous serpents and evil influences. There is also a poignant legend that claims blue vervain was supposed to have grown at the foot of the cross when Jesus was crucified, and that it staunched his wounds. Although this is historically impossible because the plant was not present in the Holy Land at this time, Catholics nonetheless cross and bless the herb with a commemorative verse before picking it. Blue vervain remained a highly esteemed general remedy anciently and into the last century. Throughout history, it was recommended for a stunning array of ailments. It was extolled for use for fevers. A manuscript recommended smearing it on the body to repel serpents. Its leaves, laid on old inflammations, would relieve them, and soaking the herb in wine and gargling it would cleanse and heal tonsillitis and mouth ulcers. As late as 1837, the London Pharmacopoeia noted the traditional use of necklaces of vervain roots tied with white satin ribbon worn around the neck as a cure for scrofula, which was a condition that caused one to look run down. Even American herbalists noted its importance. Joseph E. Myers asserted that a more remarkable plant could not be found within the whole range of herbal pharmacopoeia. Today, while blue vervain is not as commonly used as it once was, modern research is increasingly studying its bioactive compounds, such as iridoid glycosides and flavonoids, for potential sedative, anti-inflammatory, and anti-anxiety benefits, validating the wisdom behind the historical traditions of blue vervain. We have heard the folklore calling blue vervain simpler's joy for centuries of use, but what does modern science say is responsible for these widely reported benefits? Researchers are now focusing on specific bioactive compounds found within Verbena hustata that seem to validate its traditional use for anxiety, inflammation, and more. When we talk about the calming power of blue vervain, we must start with the iridoid glycosides. These compounds are present in the plant and are thought to be responsible for some of its calming effects. Specifically, research identifies two key glycosides, verbenilin and hastatoxide. Verbenilin, in particular, has shown potential for calming the nervous system. It is believed that this calming effect is achieved by the modulation of GABAergic activity, which is a key pathway in reducing anxiety and promoting relaxation. In addition to calming, these iridoid glycosides also contribute to the herb's anti-inflammatory properties. Next, we look at compounds that help to protect the body at a cellular level, the flavonoids and tannins. Flavonoids are compounds found in blue vervain that contribute significantly to its potential health benefits. Both flavonoids and tannins possess strong antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activities. Their job is to neutralize free radicals, thereby supporting overall cellular health. By suppressing inflammatory pathways, these components may help manage chronic diseases. The therapeutic profile of blue vervain is rounded out by several other constituents that contribute to its versatility. The plant contains other active compounds, including polyphenols, tannins, and terpenoids, which are all believed to play a role in the plant's medicinal properties. Essential oils and alkaloids are also present, and they contribute to the herb's calming and antimicrobial effects. Studies have, in fact, demonstrated its effectiveness against various bacteria and fungi in vitro. Ultimately, this complex chemistry is what underpins blue vervain's potential usefulness in multiple areas. Its constituents, from the soothing iridoid glycosides to the protective flavonoids, lend scientific support to its traditional uses. The compounds may help relieve anxiety, stress, and improve sleep quality. The presence of iridoid glycosides and flavonoids means the extract can suppress inflammatory pathways. Extracts are also being studied for their potential to support liver function, aligning with traditional uses, especially since blue vervain is known as a powerful hepatic herb. So, while more human research is needed to fully understand the clinical relevance of these compounds, the active chemistry of blue vervain certainly sheds light on why Hippocrates considered it one of his simples, and why it became known as the sacred herb. Many of the most interesting potential clinical applications of blue vervain relate to the nervous system. The plant contains bioactive compounds that we just explored. Research, primarily in animal models, indicated potential benefits for anxiety, depression, and sleep. Studies have shown that blue vervain can reduce anxiety-like behaviors, and that its sedative properties may help alleviate stress. As a natural tranquilizer, it appears to decrease the time it takes to fall asleep and can increase sleep duration in animal models. Traditionally, it has been used to relieve nervousness and sleeplessness. Historically, blue vervain has been highly recommended as an antispasmodic for conditions like epilepsy and fits. Some research suggests the herb may help reduce convulsions. In fact, traditional use and animal studies support its anticonvulsant and sedative activities, providing a scientific basis for its use in managing seizure. It was so esteemed that an 1875 herbalist asserted that after careful investigation, a specific preparation of blue vervain, compounded with other herbs, has no equal in treating long-standing cases of epilepsy. Beyond the brain, blue vervain has demonstrated potential benefits for internal organ systems and general defense. Blue vervain is described as a powerful hepatic, meaning it influences the liver and related functions. Since many ailments are liver-related, this function is believed to help in a variety of conditions. Preclinical trials indicate that vervain extracts may be hepatoprotective, supporting liver function and potentially reducing damage markers. It can be helpful as part of a liver cleanse when there is no inflammation and jaundice. Blue vervain was traditionally used to improve digestion and is being explored for its effect on gastrointestinal discomfort. Animal studies have confirmed its anti-diarrheal activity. Remarkably, studies on rats showed that blue vervain extract possesses a significant ulcer protective effect, achieving up to 86% inhibition of ulceration in some tests. The plant's bioactive compounds contribute to its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. These properties may be helpful in managing chronic diseases. Externally, the herb leaves were used to relieve old inflammations. A poultice made using a strong infusion of the herb was traditionally recommended to relieve conditions such as rheumatism, neuralgia, and sciatica. The American herbalist Joseph E. Myers asserted that a more remarkable plant is not to be found within the whole range of the herbal pharmacopoeia. This reflects the sheer scope of its traditional uses. Blue vervain is a powerful sudorific, meaning it causes profuse perspiration. Taken as a warm infusion, it can efficiently break a fever. It's recommended to be given hot as a febrifuge until perspiration flows and the fever breaks. It is considered one of the best herbs to use at the onset of a cold, especially with upper respiratory inflammation. Since it helps expel mucus from the system, it is valuable in treating coughs, asthma, catarrh, and even difficult cases like pneumonia and whooping cough. Its antispasmodic nature also helps relieve the cough itself. It was traditionally used as a tonic during convalescence to build strength. It was also historically employed to expel worms, restore suppressed menstruation, and was an old remedy for bladder problems and stones. While we often hear about its use for human ailments, it holds a significant place in traditional and modern herbal practice for our domestic animals, including dogs, cats, and horses. The primary reason blue vervain is used in veterinary herbal medicine is for its calming, anti-anxiety, and anti-spasmodic. I personally use blue vervain in conjunction with other herbs for my anxious, nervous horse to help relieve her stress and anxiousness with great success. This application is supported by preclinical research. Studies, most in animal models, have shown that blue vervain can reduce anxiety-like behaviors and possess sedative properties. These effects are often attributed to the plant's bioactive compounds, such as iridoid glycosides and flavonoids. Blue vervain acts as a natural tranquilizer, which can also decrease the time it takes for animals to fall asleep and increase their sleep duration in models of research. Blue vervain's antispasmodic action makes it useful for physical discomforts beyond just anxiety. The herb is used to promote muscle relaxation and alleviate cramps. This makes it helpful for animals that are exhibiting rigid or tense muscles. Traditionally, the herb has been employed for managing seizures or epilepsy in pets. This use has a scientific basis, as blue vervain has demonstrated anticonvulsant and sedative activities in animal studies. Historically, this herb was highly recommended as an antispasmodic for conditions like fits and epilepsy in humans, demonstrating a long history of use for spasmodic issues. While its primary use is neurological, blue vervain also offers support for the digestive tract and inflammation. It has been traditionally used to address various digestive issues in animals, including colic, stomach aches, and diarrhea. Animal studies have confirmed the herb's anti-diarrheal activity. Given its active components, such as iridoid glycosides and flavonoids, blue vervain possesses anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. In veterinary practice, this may help reduce inflammation associated with conditions such as arthritis. While blue vervain is valuable in herbal veterinary practice, safety protocols and proper dosage are paramount. High doses can lead to negative side effects such as vomiting, diarrhea, and excessive sedation. It is critical to note that horses cannot vomit. Blue vervain is not recommended during pregnancy due to its uterotonic effects, which means it could stimulate uterine contractions. Use the herb with caution alongside several types of medications, including sedatives, anticoagulants, medications metabolized by the liver, blood pressure medicines, and hormone therapy drugs. While generally considered safe in recommended doses, high doses may lead to mild side effects like gastrointestinal upset, vomiting, diarrhea, or excessive sedation. In toxicity studies on mice, no mortality was observed even at very high doses, greater than 5,000 nanomolar/kg, although weakness and drowsiness were noted. Note that while Verbena hastata, blue vervain, and Verbena officinalis have similar uses and are generally considered non-poisonous in appropriate doses, other species, like lemon verbena, Aloesia triphylla, may be more toxic if ingested in large quantities. Always consult a veterinarian experienced in herbal medicine before introducing blue vervain, or any other herb, into your pet's routine to ensure accurate diagnosis and appropriate dosage. Thank you for joining me for today's discussion on blue vervain. Next week I will discuss boneset. I hope you take time to tune in next week for that discussion. As always, this podcast is for educational purposes only. The information contained in this podcast is not intended or designed to treat, cure, or prevent any illness or disease. This podcast is not designed as a substitute for advice from your medical provider, veterinarian, or other qualified healthcare professional.